So welcome to my video on 2024, the worst year for gaming, the best year for gaming. I'm gonna get into this today. This is really an interesting topic and a lot of different topics all in one about why it is the best year and one of the worst years.
What the hell's going on?
And it will end with a very positive thing at the end. What do you guys think of 2024 so far? Is it the best year of gaming for you, or is it the worst? What are your thoughts on this year? Some of the controversies that have been going on, some of the things that have been happening. Let me know down below. So, this video is going to go a very interesting direction. We're going to start off with some things that really have been driving me crazy, not just for this year, but they've really bubbled this year. They've been going on for many, many years, and that is the overpricing of digital games and that video games quite literally are becoming completely digital only. And it's happening very slowly, but I'd say we're nearly 65-70% there. I even think it's higher than that, the direction that we're going with gaming now. Star Wars Outlaws has caused a lot of controversy with a lot of people out there. A lot of people are saying the main character is ugly and terrifying looking. That is not really my concern. The character is not really the greatest looking, I can say that. But that's not my concern.
Yes.
People have been talking about the price and how it's kind of gotten absolutely outrageous. And if you think it's outrageous in the States, you should see it here. Star Wars Outlaws, the Ultimate Edition in Canada with a 3-day pass and all that, jazz thrown on top is $169, $170 to get the game early and to get a few extra bits.
You pay the tax just like everyone else.
$170. I mean, as a kid, to even get a $70 game back in the day was insane. So I couldn't even imagine a kid now going, I want Star Wars Outlaws and I want the whole, the big Ultimate Edition. It's ridiculously priced. It's really overly priced. And that's just for the digital, right? That's just for the digital. That's not like a big physical copy you get or anything like that.
All right, Nix, let's go get paid.
I think we've really gotten carried away. Yes, we've seen these things before. EA over the years, the microtransactions, everything has been there for a long time. And there's been some gold standards for a while here. Baldur's Gate, right here. This is amazing because there's no microtransactions. You get the game, you get the game. Or so do you. Here's another interesting thing. So with Baldur's Gate right here, I imported this from PlayAsia because I wanted a physical copy of the game. And I'm like, cool, I get the whole game, it's on here. So I put the game in. There was a 40 gig download, showing me once again that the game is not always on here. And to be honest with you, with most of the games that I bought for PS5, most of the games are not all on there. There's always these huge patches that have to go on there. Let's not even get into Cyberpunk, because that game had massive re-downloads. The game that you got was not the game that you were getting. And that's something that really upsets me. And you know what? Yes, it's an older person thing, but I don't think so. Back in the day when I bought a game like this, Super Mario RPG, guess what? The entire game was on there. The game was finished. So a lot of these games are shipping and they're not finished. And they're like, oh, we'll patch it later. And that is the mentality. And that is something that bothers me this year more than any other year. It's really, bubbled up to me this year, is that when you buy a game, you no longer own the game. You don't. You put it in, and one day they can just say, oh, sorry, you can't download the patch anymore, or you can't download that 40 gigs to play the game, and it'll just go away. So in about 40 years or 30 years, maybe you can't play that game the same way as you can now. And yes, that was another thing with Star Wars Outlaws that bothered me. It's a little thing on the side of the box that says, you need an internet connection to play the game, to be able to download the game. You can't just plug it in and play it. That's a huge problem, a massive problem.
Are you worried?
So that's something that's really bothered me this year. And then finding out that Tomb Raider is no longer a Tomb Raider. Ay caramba, man, I am losing my mind at times. It's really ridiculous to be a video game fan and a collector and somebody who appreciates entire games on a disc. Those days are over. They're finished. And I'm having to wrap my head around that now. It's been a few years to do so, and I'm like, I don't like it. and it's a bit of a problem. And I'm telling you, going forward with systems in the future, they're going to all be digital only eventually. They're trying to get rid of the older people and people like yourself, younger people who like physical copies with the entire game on there. That's going bye-bye.
We need to leave.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that's the first bit of the video that I really want to talk about. Some of the things I really hate so far this year, and I've hated in the past as well. I want to talk about 2024 as a year for video games and analyzing it. Okay, let's go back, first of all, to one of the craziest years I've ever seen, and that was last year. That was 2023. I could not believe the amount of video games we were getting every month. It was like, the years of development and showing the games and all that, it all came out all at the same time during that year. It was spaced out, sure, but there was so much thrown at us that I was so overwhelmed, but in a great way. It was like an incredible year. And I'd say 2023 will go down in history. People will be talking about that year in about 10 years' time going, remember that year? Because I'm going to go through some of the list, and bear with me, there's a reason behind all of this.
Copy that.
So this is 2023. These games are in no particular order. I'm not listing all of the games. I'm just going to list a lot of them that were big titles in the year. We start off with Fire Emblem Engage, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Armored Core 6, Sea of Stars, Street Fighter 6, Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16, Diablo 4, Hogwarts Legacy, Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, Super Mario RPG, Pikmin 4, Metroid Prime Remastered, Advance Wars, Star Ocean the Remake. That is just 2023, and there's so many more games. Those are just the games that I played and went through and enjoyed.
I'll let myself out.
So that's a crazy year. And how does that stack to 2024? 2024 so far: Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Tekken 8, Granblue Fantasy Relink, Persona 3 Reload, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Unicorn Overlord, Stellar Blade, Sandlands, Paper Mario, Luigi's Mansion 2. Those are some of the games that are coming out this year. Most of them have come out already, and a few more are coming out through the rest of the year. Now, the reason why I bring this up is this is actually a positive moment. It really is a positive moment for me. Thankfully, I know with all those games I listed, we do not have as many games as 2023. And there'll be some people going, well, that's terrible.
Shall we pick up the pace?
I don't think so. This is why, for me, this is one of the best years in gaming in a long time. Because it quietens down for the rest of the year. Yes, there's titles that are going to be announced and coming out through the rest of the year for sure, but it's much more quiet. There's no gigantic, huge games in the rest of the year like Final Fantasy 16 and all of that kind of stuff. It quietens down, and why that's a good thing is we can finally catch up with our backlogs. And I know we all have them. We all have them. I have so many games that I'm like, I want to get to the end of that game, or I want to finish this, or I want to, at least try to start that game. Things that you bought maybe in 2023 you didn't even get to then. In 2024, you may finally get to some of these games, and that is an exciting thing.
This is your end.
And that's why I think this year really rocks, because the beginning of it has so many great games, and then it quietens down a little bit. There'll be some arguments about that, and that's totally fine, but I find it'll be a time to catch up on some of those games that we couldn't get to. And that's only a great thing, and that's why 2024, for me, is a great year. It is a great year, and I mean, we've been spoiled. I was talking to some friends of mine about this the other day. Like, we've been so spoiled in the last bunch of years, in the last 10 plus years. When I think back to myself, when I was a younger guy in my early 20s, I already showed it here, Super Mario RPG. I felt like I was waiting a lifetime for this game to come out, or Final Fantasy 3 at the time, which was Final Fantasy 6. I felt like years were going by. I'm like, oh my God, will this game ever come out? Where, look at 2023, it just didn't end. It just kept on going and kept on going. And I feel that we're spoiled now in the best way possible. We live in one of the best video game times of all time. I mean, there's so many games around the corner that are coming out that are like, wow. you know? Games that I would have passed out playing when I was a younger guy. And it's going to be so wonderful for me to catch up on some games that I really want to play, and I'm going to show some of those right now. Pikmin 4. I want to get back to this so badly. I was so loving this game. It's so wonderful and charming and fun. I love Pikmin in general, and I want to go and spend some more time with this. Definitely a game that I got robbed of earlier in the year because there was a lot going on in my life, and that is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. This game was amazing. I played all the beginning of it, and quite a few hours into it, and I was like, this is awesome. This is so my game. It is so my game. So looking forward to getting back to that. Okay, this is from last year, I know. RoboCop. I haven't even, Kim bought me this for Christmas. I haven't taken the shrink wrap of it. I am so looking forward to playing RoboCop and delving into this world. I loved RoboCop as a kid. So amazing. And look at this. The shrink wrap hasn't even come off this one. Everybody's been talking about it. I hadn't even been able to wrap my head around it. And that is Dragon's Dogma 2. This game is so my thing as well. That's what I'm talking about. So spoiled. So many amazing games. Back in the day, I'd be waiting a year for a big RPG to come out. Nowadays, it's like every month there's like so many coming out and all that. So yeah, 2024, the rest of the year for me, it's going to be a lot of catch-up. So you're going to see a lot of catch-up videos from me, and I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that. What are some things for you guys that you're looking forward to in 2024? Is this a great year in gaming, or is it the worst? Definitely let me know down below. But I just wanted to share some thoughts about where we're going digitally and how I hate it and how I can't stand it and where we're going to be going in the future. It's a worrying time, and it is the best time. That's why I said 2024 is like the worst time in gaming and one of the best times in gaming. And I really hope it can come together. And nothing's going to change though, guys. That's the reality. This is kind of ending on a bummer note. I didn't want to end that way. That nothing's going to change with the whole digital thing and the patching thing. They're never going to wait till a game is fully finished and go, here it is, it's fully finished. We don't get that anymore. Those days are over.
That's that.
And it's something for myself I think I really need to come to terms with, and I don't know if I'll ever will. And I know a lot of you out there that feel the same way, but you know what? There's still a lot of really great games to play, and I feel very thankful for that. So guys, let me know what you think of this year in gaming. So anyways, guys, until next time.